Hello and welcome to my stream. Tonight we play more of RollerCoaster Tycoon Deluxe and we'll be continuing Icarus Park, which has been the level we have been working a lot. We decided to take a break on going fast and progressing very quickly on the game because this level was first very unique, it's very different from everything else we have played. Then it also had a somewhat very forgiving objective, like we don't need to rush at it or we don't need to pressure ourselves too much to clear it. So I really decided to stop a little bit and be creative at it. And it's a very large level as well, so it has a lot of area for us to work on. So that adds to the reason why it's been taking that long for us to finish it. But we have been able to come up with some very fantastic and crazy and unique ideas to it so far. For example, last time I was able to rework on the food plazas. We have a main food plaza now and an extra one on another mountain. Also, I added a boat hire on the water area that was still left for me to work. And the best thing from last time was to create the free fall kind of maze where people or the guests will be joining the maze or entering the maze, but in the exit of the maze there is no path. So basically they will all fall into the largest pit we could create, and they will be safe because for some reason they do not die once they have a free fall like that. You could say it's probably because of a different planet and then the gravity is different. It's not really like that because in any level it will be the same, but if you want to have that explanation for it, it's worth. But yeah, it's working really well. We created a lot of mazes next to each other, and then we can see like a waterfall of people and bodies falling from there. Very tragic but fun, right? And then I will be working tonight on that mountain, on the mountain that is next to the entrance one, and it is connected by a bridge that allows people to get to those mazes. But I got to an idea thanks to a decoration set we got last time. I think I will try to create two cities. One city is going to be for people, like a normal modern city looking or something like that. It could also be a village because I just remember that we also have a village decoration set in there. So we could maybe mix, like it could be a little bit of a rural and a little bit of an urban. But we could also see and find a different mountain where we could create an alien-based village as well. So my plan is to create cities and then try to mix the cities with some rides that are still left for us to be building. Maybe a transport ride, maybe the car ride. So I'll need to see what is there for me to do about that. Plus coasters, because we still gotta get more coasters as we only have one. But thankfully that one coaster we have, it's been helping us to make profit. And then we are not really lacking on money. So even though we only have that coaster, it's doing a very good job. But we could consider getting another one. I just need to create or think on ideas. So that's the plan for the night. I'll see if I can build a city and see if I can mix it with some rides. Let's go for it. I think I will work on the people city first instead of the alien one because it's the one that I had the idea first as well, so I think it's going to be easier. Okay, here's our Fanta planet again. So the things we did last time, we built the boat higher like I was saying to finish this section in the water. We also remodeled our main food plaza, which looks like this right now. It has stalls and shops on both sides and it connects to the water level. Then we worked on the free fall maze. By the way, I should get more handyman because I'm seeing a lot of vomit. That's the free fall maze. It has a bridge that connects the entrance island with this second one. And I also created this second or extra food plaza there that goes a little bit, I don't know, Japanese maybe, but not really. Thanks to the trees right there. But I was thinking about making this island a city, although now I'm realizing it's huge, so probably I won't be able to make every single bit of it like a city. But I just noticed that it has like a main mountain, or maybe I should say a main hill, or a highest hill like that, and a bottom area or a valley. Maybe the valley could be the village I was saying, and the main area or the highest parts of it could be the city itself, or something like that. And then later I can think on another mountain or island, so we can work on an alien based city. It could be this one that's like far from the normal city, but that's probably for another stream. So tonight we are going to work on this mountain in here. I will go check the things I have. We have the city decoration, like I was saying. That's why I got this idea. Then we have the village or the mine team. And we have the spatial one as well. I think we should set some rockets. So that's how people will be traveling to this world from Earth. And then we use this for the alien base city. But what about the rides? I know I have the car ride, I know I have some transport rides. We could have the cycle railway too. I don't have... Wait, do I have the Ferris wheel? I think I don't. I do not have the Ferris wheel, so I will try finding a place for it. Ferris wheel, cycle railway, the car ride, the golf could be a good add-on too. I don't remember if I have the tower. I know I have the Woa belly, right? Like this. But I don't think I have the regular tower. We could go for the tower as well. Or maybe the tower would fit better the alien city. But the Ferris wheel goes great on a regular city because even Rio has a Ferris wheel now. The coasters, I still don't have great ideas. I know which models or which types of coasters would look great in here, but I don't have ideas on how to fit them. I don't have the Roro drop. Yeah, I don't have the Roro drop. Do I have the simulation? I do have the motion simulator, yeah. I am pretty sure I have the cinema. Yeah, I may only be missing the Roro drop in here. Then the water rides. I do want to have another area with more either jet skis or boat hires. There is even a water coaster. What else am I getting from the research? Only sceneries? Only sceneries now. I will decrease the research then because that's good but not major. So let's not pay a lot for it. Alright, so let me start thinking about this city idea. First of all, it has a lot of hills. I was hoping this area would be more plain. I could try changing the landscaping for sure, and I think I will. At least there. Hey Nubble, how are you, man? I'm trying to create a city right here. It's not really looking like I was imagining, because the landscape here is different than what I wanted, but I'm testing things out now. Doing well, how are you? Me too, man. Maybe a little bit tired today, but I'm doing alright. How have you been handling the freaking heat wave, right? Is it any better there? Because last weekend I was shocked to know that in Canada at least, there was even a city that got on fire and stuff. In here the weather has got hotter or warmer, but it's still very nice. It's not too aggressive like during a summer moment. And yeah, it's not that cold, although some areas are still very cold. But here in Rio, it's better now. The best value park? I don't think it's that high though. Yeah, it's not that high. So there were a couple of days that the heat wave was unbearable. Okay, so maybe it's not getting better. But other than that, the sea breeze has kept the area at a nice temperature. I like that about my hometown, where I am right now, because even though sometimes it can get hot, and I'm now learning it can also get cold. I was surprised that for the cold days we had some weeks ago in here, it got colder than what I was expecting, because when I traveled here, I even didn't bring a lot of, sweaters and long sleeve shirts and stuff, because I was not expecting this city to get somewhat very cold. Even though I was able to stay alright just wearing regular shirts for most part of the days, I did feel the cold, like it got cold. But yeah, when it gets hot in here, I like it has the breeze as well, like the sea breeze. In my apartment city, it's not like that. We don't really have a lot of wind, and it can really be hard to deal with the heat because of no wind to make it more refreshing. So it's nice to hear you do have the wind in there helping you out. Have you been going outside a lot? Have you been going for walks? My father wanted to go to the beach today with me, but I kinda refused it. But probably on the next days I will take the invitation and then walk a little bit more to refill my vitamin D, to just also relax a little bit and see the ocean. But today I felt like, no, it's fine. Let's leave it for another day. We went there once this week, but it was in the beginning of the week. I can't remember the day. I was a bit surprised he wanted to go there again today, because normally I'm the one that suggests uh, that trip. But yeah, today I felt like, no, let's save it for a little bit longer or a little bit later. Also, Nubble, last time we were talking about this one game that's called Monster Crown. I don't know if you have ever heard of it. Gabriel actually got it. He kind of bought that game. He tested it, but sadly he said that he was a bit disappointed. I can't remember exactly why. After he played it for an hour or so, and then he asked Steam to refund him, because it seems that if you get a game and you play the game for under 2 hours just to like see if you are going to like the game or not, you can still refund yourself, or like ask Steam to refund you in case you don't like the experience. So yeah, Gabriel tested that game called Monster Crown, and unfortunately for some reason he didn't like it that much. Maybe he had higher expectations. But the coolest thing about that game, in my opinion, and hopefully when I try it myself I kinda enjoy it, is that the sprites of the monsters. You gotta look at the sprites of the monsters. They look a lot like the Pokemon sprites for the Game Boy games. Although, of course, they will look a little bit like fake Mon as well, but I respect the art style they went for the monsters in there. And that was pretty much why it made me curious to check this game out. But then again, maybe it's not that great, because Gabriel at least kinda gave up on playing it. But the one game that I'm super curious to play that's like a fake Mon game is definitely Koromon. But there was another one that made me curious too, but I can't remember the name right now. But Koromon for sure. Koromon, I'm totally playing it. I remember you were going to look at the trailer, right? I wonder if you have checked the trailer out of Koromon. Yeah, I don't have enough space to do what I was planning to do. Maybe on this other side I can try it, because I have more area. So I think I'll keep things simple in here. But how can I keep it simple but also creative? It's complicated. Well, maybe I can do what I was thinking offline in here. Yeah, I wanted to create some sort of elevation from the path, but then create a connection between the house and the path, right? But I can't do that in here because I don't have enough space. So you did check the trailer out? Oh, you remember not being all of that impressed? That's okay, maybe it's the same situation that happened to Gabriel as well. But in my opinion, they did a good job, so I think I will still give it a try. Have you been playing something lately? The one game that I was checking out this week was a game called Hidden Folks, and it's pretty much based on Where is Wally, or like Where is Waldo, actually. I think that's its name in English. But what's impressive about that game was actually the sound effects. I was not expecting the sound effects to be that funny, because it's like every sound in the game was made by somebody's mouth. So basically, the sounds of the animals, the objects, the people, everything was like somebody giving it some sort of voice acting. And it's super charming. Like, the voice acting is funny. Sometimes it even sounds a bit like ASMR, depending on the sounds you are listening to. And then as you are trying to find the objects and things the game is asking for you to find in a very crazy vast area, like the Where is Waldo's books, you keep on clicking on things and then hearing the sounds. It's very nice. But at the same time, it's very hard because sometimes you need to interact with the scenario to finally see the hidden and secret things, and then there is where the things are located at. But it's super hard to spot everything. Someday I think I will bring that game to the channel, although it won't be fully blind anymore because I have seen the early levels so far. But hopefully I will forget. Hopefully I will forget the locations of the objects and people. But I was very happy to hear the sound effects. It reminded me of like Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, where everything in the game kind of has a voice and everything talks. So it's around those lines. But because everything had a voice made sound, made it extra charming. A lot of the Dark Souls 3 mods and a bit of Pokemon and Smash Brothers. I see, so you have been playing Dark Souls, Pokemon and Smash. Which Pokemon have you been playing now? I have been playing only Pokemon Go. Actually, actually next weekend. It's going to be the Pokemon Go Fest. Um, Probably I'll be streaming it still, but maybe starting it a little bit late because I will try to get the most out of the event, right? Oh, you're playing Pokemon Sword. You haven't touched Go in a long time. You're not the only one. Have you seen that Journeys or Pokemon Journeys got to Netflix? I wonder if you have been any interested on watching the anime. Even if you are not, I would recommend you checking out episode 30 because episode 30 was one of the best episodes out of this current season of Pokemon, and it's one that everyone should watch. Of course, the show won't be, let's say, that great like episode 30 on every episode, but episode 30 was the one that, hit me the most with the fails. So I'm recommending it to everybody. And then those that are still any curious or like any interested to check the Pokemon anime today, I do recommend this season a lot because it's been very different. It's giving us uh, things that we have waited for a long time, but they never did before, and now they're doing it. It's also full of fan service. It's getting returning characters as well. I don't know if I should say spoilers, but coming up, there is a Poke Girl from the past that hasn't been in the anime for a long time, and she's going to be returning. So uh, everybody that has been following the anime has been super excited to see her return. It's going to happen later this month. So yeah, I'm very excited for Pokemon Journeys now on Netflix. Even though that anime has been getting some trouble here in Brazil regarding the voice acting, because it seems that some voice actors are not getting paid for their job, or it's like taking a whole year until they can get paid for their job, and then the community has been trying to get in touch with the Pokemon company in South America and also the international Pokemon company, or like the Japanese one. But yeah, this situation has been kind of shocking. Some people have been like telling the truth, like the voice actors have been spilling out the beans, but not revealing themselves. Like they are trying to keep it confidential and secret, so they don't expose themselves that much because it's like a big deal that they are not getting paid. But the fans are trying to get together and ask for better conditions of work and like to change the company that's being responsible for doing that here in Brazil. So there is this whole mess happening as well. But besides it, it's a totally worth checking season, and it's fantastic in my opinion. So was it on episode 30 the one where Ash realizes he hasn't kept his promise to Pidgeot? You have seen quite a few of YouTube thumbnails about that in your recommended feed. So it's not. Although it's funny that you are saying that because there are a couple interesting scenes on the season where people were speculating something to do with Pidgeot or even Pidgeotto because it was a situation around Pidgeotto. There were some mysterious Pidgeotto's appearances, and then the situations that were following up were kind of suspicious. But then today I think we got an answer for that, and sadly it was not Ash remembering his Pidgeot. But I can tell you that episode 30 does have another, let's say, memory from the past that is really great. Like that episode, it has a lot of emotions going on in there, especially for those that follow the show for so long. And it is totally worth watching. Even if you don't care for the rest of the season, that episode, I don't know, if you grew up watching Pokemon, you should watch it. Just that one. And then maybe you give up about the rest. But no, unfortunately, he still hasn't realized or remembered his Pidgeot. Even though he has been kind of close to the location and he has been back to Pallet Town and stuff like that. Some fans are still hopeful that something could still happen, not only regarding Pidgeot, but also regarding Primeape, because he also left his Primeape training forever, but he never really said that he was, let's say, giving up on him, you know? Some fans still hope, or they are still with some beliefs that this reconnection with Ash and his, let's say, previously released Pokemon could still happen, but so far it's only a dream, right? It's still only a dream. But yes, I agree with you that that sometimes he could also be remembering. Like he doesn't really need to go back and get his Pidgeot or go back and get his Primeape, but he could, you know, just remember or mention or bring up a flashback or something. Because, for example, there was this whole deal about a Pidgeotto in the anime, and no, and he said nothing. Like he didn't say a thing. And then we were like, wait, but wasn't this an opportunity to remember that Ash used to have a Pidgeotto and then he evolved into Pidgeot? So yeah, there are still those problems, or at least some, because sometimes they do give us a flashback. There was even a flashback that surprised everybody, that was a flashback from the Sinnoh League. They showed us a screenshot of the Sinnoh League. And then we're like, holy shit, they are remembering this. So everybody got happy about that, but of course they are not doing it like a lot. It's still sometimes, but it's enough to give us hopes. So yeah, I do hope that he still goes back to see his Pidgeot. But man, do check this episode out. At least this one, it's really worth. I don't want to say exactly what is it about, because I would be spoiling it, but it is very nostalgic. It really feels like you are watching Pokemon as a kid again and watching the first season, you know? Have you been watching the Summer Games Done Quick? Wait, Summer Games Done Quick, there we go. Event? Because Victor has been watching it. And did you get any good deals from the summer sale, the Steam summer sale? I only got one game, but I was getting lots of those collectible cards. Oh, you haven't? Yeah, SGDQ, there we go. Yeah, me neither, because most of the things they show there are speed run or speed running, and it's not really my thing. But as Victor was excited for it last weekend, I kind of felt curious to know if something great was going on, or like if records were being beaten, or something like that. If he shows up later, I will ask him how is it going, because I know he has been checking some streams of it. Wait, we have a lot of vandalism here? Maybe I should get more guards because I only have two. Oh yeah, Nubble, there is this one thing that I have been trying to remember to tell you forever. But it's been like a really long time that I got those news, and I could never remember to tell you that. Maybe now it's old news and then you already know of it. But anyway, finally I have the chance to say it. There was that day that we were talking about zombie games and stuff, and then I think you were like me, that we were not big horror or zombie fans, like fans of games like that. But you brought up an exception, and then you said that your favorite zombie game of that genre would be Zombies Ate My Neighbors. And then later on, I realized that they released that game for the Switch. So I'm not sure if you are aware of it. Probably you are, because a lot of time has passed by and you said that you really like that game. But I always try to remember myself, or to remind myself, that I had to tell you those news, in case for some reason you didn't know about it. So yeah, Zombies Ate My Neighbors is now on Switch. For some months, probably. There are so few games you like watching being speed ran that you tend to ignore uh, games done quick. It's just that I mean, there are a good amount of games that I could be interested to watch speedruns. For example, Mario 64, the Zeldas, even some other Mario games, even Pokemon as well. But it's the speedrunning itself that doesn't really get to me a lot, you know? But I could see myself watching it, but it's just not my priority. I would rather maybe watch a blind playthrough because then I can see people getting more surprised and then they will be enjoying the game with some depth instead of like using glitches and rushing and just to beat the game. I don't know. I would rather have a more casual, chill thing to watch than maybe the excitement of the speed running. But who knows, maybe someday, in case I get somehow more interested and then someone even introduces me to this world in a better way of speedrunning, I can see myself starting to follow some couple runs or some events like that. Okay, there we go. So you did see the news. You found out a month or two ago that Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Wait, there is a sequel too? And its sequel were re-released for the Switch. Yeah, it was surprising, right? Yes, and it was funny that I got those news not too after we had that conversation here, although I totally forgot to bring that up to you. I was able to remember to tell Victor about Tony Hawk Remastered going to the Switch because we also talked about that game once. But yes, I was missing out to tell you about that game. Oh, they are two games into one. That's great. They are doing the same about Advanced Wars, which was also another big surprise from E3 this year. It's one price for both. Okay, it's a good deal. I never really played it myself or like considered playing it myself, but you are not the only one that says great things about it. So even though zombies and those things are not my thing, I can't say that I'm not curious, or at least a little bit curious about the game. You are very excited for Advanced Wars Reboot Camp? Me too, even though I also don't play strategy games and things like that. But in my opinion, I said this when we were talking about the E3. That announcement was my favorite out of the Nintendo conference. I understand that the hype for Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 is like fantastic. Um, I believe the only other big news than that was like the Smash Brothers character. Oh, never mind, Metroid Dread as well. Yeah, the hype for Metroid Dread was also super huge. But I can't see myself starting to play that game like Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, and I still gotta find a way into the Metroid universe because I still haven't played any of them. But Advanced Wars is something that I could play myself, not the reboot, but the original, because it's a GBA game. And it could be my introduction to more strategy and uh, tactics games, but it is somewhat more charming than Fire Emblem, and it sounds easier than the Final Fantasy Tactics game to me. Maybe it's just my impression and I can be completely wrong, but yes, I felt like, man, maybe this is a chance for me to really jump into this because they are resurrecting the franchise and then everybody's going to be hyped for it. I felt that hype as well myself, so maybe this could be the last push to like put me into this. So I felt like it was a fantastic announcement. It got everyone by surprise. I was also happy for the WarioWare that's coming back, the Mario Party Superstars, which stole my hype for. Actually, it stole my hype from the Mario Golf because after Mario Golf was released, it didn't impress me that much as what I was dreaming of. So all of my hype was sent to Mario Party Superstars now. But that Advanced Wars release or announcement, not only one game like you said, like the whole deal, like the 1 and 2 together, that made me very happy even though I never played it. And also because I knew the fans have been waiting for that forever. Like they even lost their hopes it would ever happen. And I also like to see the reactions of some people on YouTube as well when they were watching the Nintendo conference. So yes, it was one of my favorite announcements, if not my favorite, from the Nintendo conference. Because like the Breath of the Wild 2 announcement or trailer, even though of course it's beautiful and fantastic, it's expected. So I was not that impacted because okay, there it is, it's going to happen. I kinda knew it was going to happen, okay, show me Nintendo. But this one was like, nobody was talking about it, nobody was predicting it, and then holy shit, it's happening. So I liked it because of that, because of the big surprise, and because I knew that was a big thing for many people. Maybe not everybody, because there are those that have never heard about the franchise at all, and then they were like, what the heck is Advanced Wars? Probably more recent people that are playing Nintendo consoles, and then they skipped the Game Boy Advance or something. But I knew that game was something, or I knew that announcement was something big. Those that liked that game were like mind blown, like I was. Your biggest complaint about Fire Emblem is the recruiting system. You hate how you can easily miss out on gaining units if you don't know the game at all. So it's that challenging for you to recruit more people? Interesting. And don't you get bothered about the permadeath of Fire Emblem games? The lack of Prime 4 news was also expected. I was not that sure. I was still having some hopes it could be revealed something, but at the same time I was not certain. So basically, I didn't have a lot of hopes they would be showing us something about Metroid Prime 4. But at the same time, I was not like zero hopes. But yes, I was not very surprised we didn't get anything. You know what happened that made me drop my expectations before they aired the Nintendo Direct? The amount of time of it. Yeah, before it was aired, we kind of knew how long it would be. And then once I heard it was like 40 minutes long, I was like, okay, 40 minutes is like not much. They are probably not going to show us many different games, or they are probably going to only reveal a couple surprises. So that's where I dropped my hype. I was really hoping for that direct or that conference to be at least an hour long, or maybe I don't know, 50 minutes, but it was like 40. So in there, or at that moment, I was like, okay, maybe this won't be as fantastic as I was dreaming, but it still had its surprises. And even though we got no news on Metroid Prime 4, Metroid Dread is not bad. I was actually impressed by it, especially because of the, let's say, chasing experience with like those robots after or running after Samus. That was something that really added more to the game, and it was a good change, like a good spice, in my opinion. But you know what I really like about Nintendo conferences on E3 more than the other companies? Man, the treehouse. Maybe some people ignore the treehouse, they don't watch the treehouse, they underestimate the treehouse. But if you stop to watch it, it's fantastic because they really spend a good amount of time showing you the games they are going to release. Maybe that's a reason why they haven't brought up Metroid Prime 4 or something, because maybe they wouldn't be able to show more of that game in comparison to Metroid Dread, or maybe they didn't want the two games to conflict. Like, let's talk about Metroid Dread and Metroid Prime 4, and then because they are talking about two Metroid games at the same time, maybe some people would praise one and ignore the other. I think that wouldn't happen because the Metroid fans would be down for both. But maybe that's also another reason why they decided to only focus on one. so they could also show it a lot on the treehouse. I don't know, but the treehouse is fantastic. Uh, they really show us a lot of the games, and we had so many E3 conferences where we couldn't really see a lot of the gameplay of the games, only the crazy cutscenes and you know cinematographic or cinematic. I'm not sure how is the word actually, but maybe cinematographic uh, showcase. But seeing the games on the treehouse really helps. It's like you don't want to spend a lot of time seeing the games, that's fine, we have the normal conference. But if you do check more on them, the treehouse is perfect. Even though Dread is the fifth installment of the 2D games, they said it should be a decent starting point for new fans. They said that, yes, because it seems it's going to be easy to follow it up, like the story. They said it, yes, you are not wrong about that. They also said that after 19 years, the series is getting a new or a whole new 2D game, right? Because it seems that Metroid Samus Returns was a remake of another game, I think. So after 19 years, it got a new 2D original game. So it's like a lot of time. And speaking of a lot of time, Donkey Kong series or the franchise is now 40 years old. Like this week it was the 40th anniversary of Donkey Kong. So we are getting old, man. Our classics are becoming our grandparents or grandparents. Our classics are becoming our grandparents. But yes, I still gotta try playing Metroid one day. It's probably going to be the Super Metroid game. That's the one that got to my attention the most. But it's the setting. I don't like the setting that much. That's my deal, like... But it will happen. I said already it's going to happen. I told myself it was going to happen, so it will happen even if I don't like it. Hopefully I can get surprised and then I enjoy the game. But it's the setting that I'm not a big fan of. So Metroid Zero Mission was a hybrid of a remake and a new game of Metroid 1, and then you had Samus Returns was the official remake of Metroid 2. Zero Mission, um, I don't remember when that one was released. Was it released somewhat recently as well? Because I felt like Samus Returns was... Oh, okay, Zero Mission was on GBA. So would it be 19 years? Oh, it wouldn't, because if it is like a mix of a remake of the first, then I still think it wouldn't count as a whole original game, right? So when they say 19 years, it's even older than that. Then you had Fusion, which was the last new Metroid game for the 2D games, and it explains why Samus' suit in Dread looks odd. I think I have an idea of why. I think I was already spoiled on that. I know for sure that she was infected. So I believe that has something to do about that. You know something else that surprised me about E3? We got no new Pokemon news, right? Or there was no Pokemon. And you know what's crazy, Nubble? I was even bringing up this one list probably last weekend or in the past streams of like the most pre-ordered games at GameStop after E3, and then the Pokemon games were on that list, even though Nintendo hasn't talked about them at all. I think they one got like the fourth or fifth position. I can actually go back to the list to confirm that. Yeah, there we go. The remakes of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, they were the fourth. Like they were the fourth game most pre-ordered at GameStop after E3. So I was like, what? But Nintendo hasn't talked about them at all during E3. And then Legend Arceus was at number 10. And then number 1 was Metroid Dread, yeah. Give me a new Pokemon Stadium or a new Shadow game and then I can die happy. I still gotta play the Colosseum games, which remind me of a video I watched, Nubble. I was watching a video of like people talking about their favorite cities in the Pokemon universes and then like what were their favorite locations and what were even their least favorite locations. I was surprised that in one of the lists I checked, a person lists as a favorite city of theirs a Colosseum city, a city from the game. I think it was, I can't remember the name of the city because I haven't played it, but it was a city where the champions live or they move to after they win the competitions or something. And then he said that was a fantastic city, like an oasis in the middle of the desert, because it was like a very desertic area where the Pokemon Colosseum games happen, which makes sense because from the images I have seen of it, it does look like that. So yeah, you're not alone in there. Like some people do love the Colosseum games because they're even bringing up the cities from that game to their lists. When I think that normally people wouldn't be doing that. So yeah, I was surprised to see, oh my god, somebody in here really likes Colosseum games. But in my case, the one, let's say, spin-off of Pokemon that I'm missing the most is the Ranger games. Yeah, I do like the Ranger games a lot. And regarding Pokemon Stadium, I haven't played them a lot as a kid, especially the single player. So someday I do hope I can go back and play more of the single player. When I played it was pretty much to battle my friends and that was it, or to play the mini games. Yeah, the mini games were the best. That's something that I totally miss. But the single player, I kinda skipped it. So it's like a city filled with old folk and lush greenery. I think yes, yes, it was a very luxurious city as well. Or did it have a fountain on water in the center surrounded by sand? I would say the first because I think he said something about it being very rich or something like that. there was one list of like least favorite cities to live in the Pokemon universe, or like least favorite cities of that person's taste. That the person listed Pacifilod City or town actually, right? Pacifilod town as their least favorite. And that was a very interesting pick because it is a very creative city, in my opinion, from the Ruby Sapphire games. But if you stop to think about it, it is really an awful city to live in, don't you think? Because of the ocean waves, and then how probably the city won't be very stable. And then your feet are always wet because, like, you can even see in the game that, like, between the logs, the water is spilling up. So, like, it's going to make your feet always wet. And then if you're not cautious, you can even fall on the water. So that guy got a point. Like, I was, oh yeah, this could be an awful city to live in, or I can see why you are listing it as one of your least favorite cities in here. So it is Agate Village, the one where old folk and retired trainers live. Yeah, he mentioned that. He mentioned that the champions and like those that were successful in their Pokemon journey, they will move there. Yeah, that's the one. Agate Village. So my favorite city in the Pokemon universe is totally Ecruteak City. That's where I would like to live in. But second place would be Canalave City from Diamond and Pearl. I was a bit sad that I saw nobody bringing up Canalave City. I think maybe either people forget about it or they don't love it as I do. But Ecruteak City is definitely a favorite. Like many people loved it. And then some people were mixed feelings about Fortree because the idea is cool, and then when you see it in the game, you like it. I used to like Fortree a lot. It used to be my favorite city in Ruby Sapphire games, actually, mostly because of the music. But then with time, I started to like Sotopolis City more, so now it's my new favorite. But that also brought up a thought to me that I have never been to a treehouse. And then people were saying that, oh yeah, if you live in a tree house or in the middle of the forest, you need to deal with bugs, and then it's going to be hard. Imagine when it rains, and then it's not that safe. So it's not like the best place for you to be living. But in the games, it's a very cool city, or it's a very great idea. But then that made me remember that I have never been to a treehouse. Have you, Nubble? Last time we were talking about igloos, and then Ultra said that sometimes there are some igloos on some events, on some locations in the middle of the city, but not really like a natural igloo, because in order for you to see a natural one, you would need to travel to the north part of Canada. But then a treehouse, even, I have never been to a treehouse. Oh, it is pronounced weird, but you're not sure how to phonetically spell it. I see. So it's not Agate. A resident in Fortress City even says that bug Pokemon like to crawl through the windows. Okay, so yeah, I'm good. Let me go to Sotopolis City, even though it's very, let's say, isolated and maybe hard to get there. But I need no more bugs. I already have many bugs in here. I'm dealing with them every time I go downstairs to watch TV during the night. I even bring my it's like not really a mantle, but a a blanket, right? I bring my blanket so I can cover all of my body, and then the mosquitoes don't get me. Thankfully, I haven't spotted a cockroach, because normally when I'm by my parents, I spot a cockroach on every ear. No cockroaches so far, so I don't know what my parents have done here in the house. Probably they done some sort of bug extermination thing. It worked. I haven't spotted any of them. Your fear of heights alone would keep you away from tree houses, I see. I also have some fear from heights today, but it's something that grew on me thanks to some sort of vertigo. I didn't used to have this fear or to have vertigo. Today I kind of do, and with that, I'm now more scared of heights for sure. But I'm guessing you have at least seen a treehouse before, haven't you? At least the American movies make me imagine that treehouses are, I don't know, 10 times more common in there than in here. But then who knows, maybe you haven't seen one before? Maybe they are not that common like the movies kind of point out. But when I was thinking about tree houses, I was imagining that a good amount of people would have been to one. We to have never seen one outside of movies, so never mind. Maybe the movies are all a lie. Because they always gave me that idea that many kids in the US would be playing at tree houses and stuff, but maybe that's like too far on the past, and then days are completely different today, which makes sense as well. But you have seen a couple for kids, but you don't count them as tree houses because they don't live there. I mean, you don't really need to live on a tree house, right? So, you know something else that I see being very common in American movies and stuff? People that camp at their gardens or like at their backyard. Have you ever done that at least? They kind of spend the night in the backyard. By the way, we're losing some frames, but I hope it's like... Okay, I think it's back now. So they gave us the jungle decoration in here. Oh, camping is super common with kids. You don't want to travel to camp, so you pitch a tent or just sleep under the stars to simulate that experience. I wish I could sleep easily, because if I could see myself sleeping easily, I can go for that idea of like camping and spending the night outside and stuff. But unfortunately, I'm not like that, so I think I would struggle if I had to sleep outside of my room or something like that. Yeah, I would love to have that experience because I love nature, but unfortunately, I struggle to sleep, so... Oh, we can pick the colors for those houses? Oh, I forgot to raise the levels in here, but at the same time I would only have, yeah, I would only have space for me to do that on this building right here, not on the other two. So yeah, it wouldn't be looking good, so I think I will leave it like this. I will see if I can make some sort of ride right there. Maybe the Ferris wheel, maybe the tower, maybe the car ride. Okay, Nubble. I kinda wish that my rides would be closer connected to the buildings, but I still couldn't really see a way or think on a way of doing that very well. I think I will build the city and then I think about the rides later. And then if I need, I change the design for the city. Okay, the cycle railway won't fit this area, so probably I'll need to go for the car ride. Or the golf, but maybe the car ride will be better here. Hey Electro, how are you, man? I'm trying to build a city. I saw that we got the urban decoration and also this village one. Maybe I can try creating a village on that valley down there, and then on another island or mountain I can go for an alien-based city with that team right there. It's not looking very creative as what I was dreaming of, but it's also because of the landscaping. The landscaping has those hills that are kinda annoying, but this is also not too bad. And then I will see how can I also include some rides to it, and then depending on that I try changing the design I'm giving it. Yeah, I thought about creating a city for people and a city for aliens. And then when I was checking the sceneries, I remember that there is also this village thing, so maybe I can also create a somehow village area. And the game is still giving me more things. So they gave me the Egyptian one, maybe you can also think about that later. But yes, I wanted to make this mountain or island in here as a city or as a metropolis. But sadly the landscaping is bad, so it won't look as I was planning, but it's okay. I'm building it on top of the hill, and then maybe on the hill we can go for rides, just like what I'm doing right here with the car ride. Something about past, present, future, that's not a bad idea. And you were reminding me that I need to put on this city right here the rocket, because otherwise how would that those people get to this place? So I need to have some sort of rocket station in here, on this city as well. Speaking of past, present, and future, which is completely a reminder of Dark, I have been talking about the Brazilian series I was watching, and I finished watching it this week. It's called Unso in English or Desalma in Portuguese, and it was very good. Can't say it's perfect or better than Dark, it's not. But it was a big surprise, or it was a very great show, or a Brazilian show to binge or to watch. But I have been saying how it's related to Dark or how it reminds us of Dark and everything. And then I learned there is a big reason why as well. I even took a picture. Oh no, never mind, I deleted the picture already. But there was like a moment in the show that um, it had a yellow coat, so it's like a big reference to Dark. But I learned that the person that was responsible for the sound effects of the Dark show was hired to do the sound effects of this one show as well, of Unsold. So there we have it. The connections between the two shows is like official. The only thing about that show that I was not a big fan of is that you know that in Dark they give you some phrases or dialogues that they could be telling you a lot about the story or what's happening, but when you hear them for the first time you don't realize it, or you would need to rewatch the show to really get those bits of information that you completely skipped. Yeah, on this show, on Unsoul, unfortunately, when they try to do the same thing, like when they try to give you bits of information so you could try to theorize and stuff, they were a bit too spoilery. So thanks to that, I was not very surprised on the events by the end of it. But again, I still think it was a very good show, especially considering the quality of it. Like, it had a good quality. It had a fantastic photography. Like I said, they hired the freaking guy from Dark that made the sound effects. There were many sound effects that felt a little bit like Dark as well. There was even this one person saying on YouTube when I was checking people's reactions or impressions of the show, saying that it's a completely different show if you watch it with headphones. Unfortunately, I watched it on my TV, so I didn't have that experience. But she said, like, watch it with headphones. It's like fantastic to hear because the sound effects will give you the suspense and it's going to intensify them. So it does have a lot of quality, but unfortunately, the problem or the biggest problem or flaw were the dialogues or those attempts of like trying to give you hints about the future events, but the hints were too clear. Like I was like, okay, so this is happening next. And then I was completely right when it happened by the end. So it's a bit predictable if you are really paying attention to the messages, but still worth watching, and it's going to have a second season, and the second season is be out this year, it seems. So I'm also excited for that, and I'm now hoping it's going to have 3 seasons just like Dark, but then about that I'm not sure. But it was a very good watch. I don't know if people in other countries would be able to find it somewhere. Probably not, or maybe not that easily. Although this Brazilian streaming service that's called Globoplay has its international version, so it's like not impossible. But if you have ever a chance to check this one show out, go for it, especially because of it is funny. It is funny, especially in the beginning, to notice and point out the coincidences between the two shows. Not only that, it also has references to other shows and movies. But then I would say that was maybe another problem of it. There are like clear references, like, oh yeah, this is like that movie, or this is like that other show. Like I mentioned, Dark is an example, but there were other pop culture references in there too. But the problem is that they were a bit, let's say, unfitting. Or when you see those scenes, you would expect they would add a lot to the story. But then as you keep on watching, you see that they are like not with a big reason to be there, or they do not add pretty much anything to the story. They are there to confuse you or to give it a fantastic reference. But then regarding the plot, it has nothing to do with the plot. So that was a problem too, because when I was watching it, I was like, wait, is this series going on that direction of that one movie? And then it was not. But anyway, it was fantastic to watch. I'm not used to watch many Brazilian shows, so it was a very great surprise. Normally, we have something completely different being produced in here, especially soap operas. So I was really impressed, and it's still motivating me to keep on watching more Brazilian things that I was curious to check, but I have never done it. For example, there is this other show called 3%. This one got a lot of good criticism, or like good critics, and it is on Netflix. I imagine it's also on Netflix in other countries, and it has already many seasons because of how successful it was. And I think it's about a world where there is a crazy virus or a crazy disease happening, and only 3% of the population can survive it, and then that's why it's titled like that. And there is some sort of um, isolated, uh, at least that's the impression I have. I'm not sure if the show is really like that, but there is some sort of isolated village or isolated city where those 3% people that can survive the supposed virus or pandemic or something will be moving to live like together. But then maybe there is some sort of corruption happening where people or like normal people can't go there, but if they could go there to this city or move there, they would be able to have better conditions of living. And you know, those sort of problems where people try to separate groups of people. So yes, I'm expecting that sort of dystopia story, and I will see if I start watching it soon. That and Chernobyl from HBO. Oh yes, speaking of Unso and more of Dark, Electro, you remind me something that I really liked. You remind me that I also enjoyed the show a lot because it accelerated on the final episodes of it, or on the last episodes of it. Even though the answers in the end were a bit predictable thanks to the bits of information the show was throwing at you, I liked how it accelerated. So it made me feel a little bit like watching season 2 of Dark, where things were not stopping at all and then every scene was a big event. It gave me a little bit of that too. I was like, what is happening? What's going to happen? And then it was super fast. So it pretty much gave me flashbacks of when I was watching, especially season 2 of Dark, which is the best. So I also give high props for this show for making me feel like that a little bit. They were very mind blowing how they tied in every character to the main story. I'm not sure how is the second season of this show going to be like, because I even didn't know if there was going to be a second season. Because even though, let's say, there are points of this story where it could develop into a second season, and then that's what's happening, I could also see the show being complete. Like, season 1 has a somewhat completion. You know, it has a beginning and an end. The end could be a bit like, and then what's next? Yeah, it could be like that, but it's not necessarily that important. I mean, it could be important, but what I mean is that you do get the answers you were looking for. Like, this is how the show is starting, those are the problems. Are they going to be answered? Yes. You do get the answers of pretty much everything by the end of the first season. But, of course, with answers comes more question or come more questions. And then that's where they are going to work on the second season. I'm afraid that they may not be able to do the same as in Dark. Like, maybe the show was planned to only have a single season, and then when they are improving the story, they could have more flaws, or they wouldn't be linked very well, the information and the connections, like you said, with like season 2 and 3. Because in Dark, they were all planned since the beginning. So the show was created thinking on 3 seasons, so they could really arrange the informations and the plot in a very fantastic way. So I hope it doesn't get uh, worse on season 2, but I will see. I will see how that goes, and I'm hoping it does get released this year still. The ending was very well paced, even though we still didn't get every answer, and then we had that talk one of the previous streams, especially towards Boris Newald or like Alexander Tiedemann. That's like the one thing I wanted to get answered, but at the very least they gave us an answer, let's say answer quotation marks, to point out that story was not that major. Because there was one scene that they brought that up. Like, there was one scene on season 3 that was discussed. But of course, it was very brief, and the details we didn't get. I might need to make the station one piece longer. I was hoping to connect them with the path without... Oh, you know what? Maybe the station could be on the other side right there, right? Because in here we have a slope that goes earlier. Or, never mind, I can just change this bridge. Okay, now it's just like the second, right? Just like how is it in the back? Which cars should we have in here? Maybe the sports cars are the best. But then we can change the colors. Where is Ultras to talk about the Corvettes? Oh, by the way, Electro and Nubble, in case he's still around, I watched a video that was talking about French fries. And do you guys have a favorite French fries in the US? Because the video surprised me, as it didn't give me the most expected French fries that I imagined to be the favorite of those that were trying the French fries to be number one. It was, of course, at number two or like top three, but not number one. And then I'm curious to see if that information would apply to my viewers or to like you all. If the French fries from this one place is really that great. You do the trucks because you recently learned that guests don't mind riding them when it rains. The trucks is also one of my favorites, but the problem is that I don't think it's fitting. I don't think it's going to be fitting for this city, do you think? So beer better French fries are your favorite. Wait a minute, but where is the fast food chain that they sell it? Because yes, I want to know what is your favorite French fries from the fast food chains. So Electro is saying that In-N-Out fries are pretty good. Unfortunately, that they didn't have that one on the video though, but I have heard of the burgers of In-N-Out, and they look delicious. But you generally like sweet potato fries. You guys are going very fancy in there. Sweet potato fries, in here we normally have sweet potato chips. And if I'm not mistaken, Nubble hates sweet potatoes, wasn't it? I kinda have that feeling from like another talk. But yes, it seems you guys don't have like McDonald's as your favorite French fries place. Because there is something about McDonald's fries that make it addicting. Then Carl's Jr. Cajun fries are good too. About that, I haven't heard of it before. Carl's Jr. I know that In-N-Out are, or it is not a fast food chain that's everywhere. But then Carl's Jr., I wonder how big is it? Like, is it really everywhere or it's very localized? Yeah, what's your favorite fries from fast food chains? That's pretty much the video I was watching. Although not many places will sell the beer better fries, unless it's from a slightly higher end place. And then Nabu is not a fan of fries unless it is the beer better? Let me Google the beer better fries then. Yeah, Electro, but haven't you, don't you like it? Like the McDonald's fries? That's the impression I had before watching the video too. I was like, okay, McDonald's is going to win this. But in the end, the best fries about, or the best fries that the people that tried some different fries listed as their favorite was from the Popeyes. So have you guys ever had the Popeyes fries? Unfortunately, we don't have Popeyes in Brazil. I think they tried to come here once, but then they closed. Either them or Wendy's. Wendy's for sure, actually. Wendy's tried to come to Brazil, but then after they opened 3 or so stores, they ended or finished uh, their business in here, and then there is no more Wendy's. But Popeyes, I have never seen Popeyes in here. And then second they listed McDonald's fries, And then third was from another fast food chain called Arby's. Have you guys ever tried Arby's before? And then the least favorite fries of out of the options they had in there was from Chick-fil-A. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it correctly. Chick-fil-A, which is another, let's say, fast food chain that I have heard before, but it's not in Brazil. You, Arby's is a fast food place, is it not? I don't know. What do they sell there? Is it not like burgers? Oh, Electro doesn't get fast food often. That's actually great. It's better that way. It's been forever since I ate at McDonald's because they are more expensive in here than Burger King. So I normally go for Burger King thanks to the prices. Wait, but then Chick-fil-A would be your favorite? Your favorite fries or your favorite fast food? Oh, it's because it never struck you as a fast food place. Let me Google the beer batter fries. Wait, what? They look like something else. They look like, I don't know, fried fish or fried chicken. They look awesome actually, but... Oh, never mind. It's because I did Google fish. Like, okay, there we go, there we go. And now, could see the fries. Oh, I think I know which fries are those. They are the ones that have the potato peel. Those are very good indeed. But then, is there a specific reason why they're called beer batter? Like, does it really get some sort of beer? Or is it just the name of the potato or something? They have a lot of different sauces, but their original is your favorite with the fries. So you do like the Chick-fil-A fries? That's crazy because in the video people kinda listed it as their least favorite. Because it's a sauce that has honey mustard, barbecue, and mayonnaise. Those three together? I mean, maybe it does work great because I do like mustard and mayo together, but then with barbecue I never tried that. So beer is used in the batter, huh? But then I'm guessing it doesn't taste like beer, like it's going to get a different taste. Because I don't like beer, like I think it tastes super bitter. But I imagine that when you use it on a recipe, the taste is going to be completely different. So they do use alcohol which gets cooked out when frying, so it's non-alcoholic in the end. Yeah, just like maybe risottos, when they used wines, or when they use wines. Man, they gave us the medieval scenery. When Electro said the past, the present, and the future, he was not joking. Maybe this hill right here could be a good spot for the Ferris wheel. I just don't know how am I connecting it, but I will think on something. What if it was something different, like the entrance and the exit were like that? We normally don't have that configuration, or yeah, maybe it could be like this, and then we set like a river, on the middle. The beer batter fries, they have the perfect texture and crunchiness without being too crunchy or mushy. So, okay, they are not the ones that I was thinking at first, because when I saw the pictures, the fries that I thought at first, they were those that they fry the fries with like the peel of the potato. Those are super good. Do you guys know how are those called? In here, I would say it's like the rustic fries. Normally, when you find them at places, you say that they were fried in a rustic way. When it's the potatoes and they keep the peel of the potato. And it's so good. But then this one that has the beer in the batter, I still gotta look for that. I haven't seen it before. Me neither. I actually never imagined beer being mixed with fries like that. I can only see people like eating fries as a snack and then drinking beer, but like having beer in the recipe, that's quite creative even. So you have always called those fries JoJo's. That's funny because I have been watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. The ones with the yeah, the ones with the skin. That's super good. Beer battered fish is good. As a kid, I used to eat fried fish, but today I don't eat anything from the sea anymore. And then beer battered fish, I also haven't seen them before. But if you had fried fish here in Brazil as a snack, you would normally see a rosé sauce as an option for it. Rosé sauce is like mayo and ketchup mixed, so it turns like pink, and then that mix is super common to eat with the fish snacks or like fried fish snacks, and also lime. Yeah, lime and rosé sauce. But then after my after I was 5, I kind of stopped eating fish, or today I can't eat fish or seafood. Yeah, it is a good sauce. I can't say it's a very common sauce, but I do like it a lot when you mix mayo and ketchup together. When you buy that sauce on supermarkets or groceries, they also have other spices as well. I think they also can have paprika mixed on that. But the basic idea is ketchup and mayo. The tartar sauce, uh, not sure if it is the one that I'm thinking, probably not, so I'm going to Google it. I know for sure we have it in Brazil, but I can't remember if it is the one that I'm thinking or if I have had it before. But probably not. Is this garlic maybe? Oh, it is a mayo sauce. Um, Wait, it's like heavy cream, mayo? It's mayo, lime, spices, sometimes pickles. I don't remember having this, but I think I would like it. It sounds like a seasoned mayo, right? Also, hi Subaru, how are you, man? We are creating a city on the park now. So in the US, it's like mayo and pickle. But you know that the UK version is slightly different. I saw a recipe here that had mustard, so then I kind of felt it was too different. But yeah, somebody posted a recipe that had mustard. Oh, by the way, Subaru, I do have a fun fact to tell you that I learned about this week. Uh, Subaru, did you know that in the Resident Evil 8 demo, there is a bottle that you can find in one of the houses in there? And if you analyze the bottle, on the back of the bottle there is like a label, and in that label there is a text which is a reference, or it's pretty much the lyrics of a song. And this song is Radiohead's Creed. So basically, somebody put an Easter egg of Radiohead's Creed lyrics on the back of a bottle, a Resident Evil 8 demo. I'm not sure if that bottle is also found in the game, maybe not, like in the normal game. But that's a fun fact that Radiohead has an Easter egg on Resident Evil 8 games. Does Radiohead belong to the universe of Resident Evil? Is it confirmed now? I know, right, Subaru? I was watching a fun facts video about 3DS games actually, but this channel it's called Did You Know? Did You Know Gaming? Yeah, that's the name of the YouTube channel. I highly recommend it. It's great for fun facts. Did You Know Gaming? They were talking about 3DS games, but they always have a random trivia fact at the end of the episode, which goes to anything, or like it can be anything not related to the title of the video. And then they went to Resident Evil 8 and then they brought that up. So I had to tell you that because it was such a, a detail of like it's such a good find, but it's also so specific that it's on the back of a bottle. It's like hard to find, hard to spot. And then people realized it was the lyrics of Radiohead's Creed song. It's crazy. Like it's crazy that people can realize those things, plus that the creators are adding them to the games. So Nubble uses mayo, pickle relish, and a splash of lemon juice for the tartar sauce. I will try that. I do think I would love that sauce now. Although maybe I should say that finding pickles in Brazil it's complicated. It's not that common, unless maybe somebody makes them themselves. It's not something that I can easily think about buying somewhere. But I also think it's possible. If I just go to the, let's say, depths of the supermarket and grocery stores, maybe I can find it in there. But it's not very common in here unless you are buying burgers from McDonald's or from Burger King, then they will have pickles. But besides that, it's super rare for you to find pickles elsewhere. It is a great channel, isn't it, Nubble? And then on the video they were talking about today, they were talking about 3DS games, and I learned some sad facts about the last Mario and Luigi game, which was a remake. Oh, by the way, we are losing some frames, I'm sorry for that, but overall I think the stream is okay. In case it goes super bad, then let me know so I try changing the server. We were having some server issues last time too, but thankfully now the Argentinian server is way better than how it was last Sunday. That's why I went back to it. But I'm still getting some frame drops sometimes. But overall, I think we're good. But in case it's worse to you, like I'm looking at it, but I don't know how it really is looking like, then let me know. But yes, the Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, which was the remake of a classic for the DS. Man, I was surprised to hear those news. That game was a big failure. It was such a failure that it didn't sell more copies of some Virtual Boy games or titles in Japan. So basically, that game was like horrible, which is surprising because when you talk about people regarding, oh, which Mario and Luigi is your favorite, many people would say that one, like the Bowser's Inside History. Not my favorite though. My favorite is the first Superstar Saga. But man, I was kind of shocked that that game was a complete failure. I have theories about that. Maybe the biggest fact was because it was released late on the 3DS's life or lifespan. So maybe many people have stopped playing the 3DS and then, why buy this game now? Especially because it is a remake. But still, like losing to some Virtual Boy titles. And then probably you guys also know that Alpha Dream, which was the company responsible for pretty much all of the Mario and Luigi games, they had bankruptcy. And then maybe that was a reason why it happened, because if their last game was a failure, they broke down or like they had to close doors. So yes, I didn't know about that. At least in Japan, I'm not sure how was it around the world or like worldwide, but in Japan it was a big failure. More Virtual Boy titles were sold than this game, so that was impactful to me. Sabri is saying that I don't know why it couldn't be, like why Radiohead couldn't be part of the Resident Evil universe. It is not necessarily related to Resident Evil, but they could still exist in the same universe. I mean, of course, because even the locations in the game, they are somewhat mentioned, right? They said that Resident Evil 7 happened in a state of the US that I forgot right now, but it happened in the US, like, yeah, and they gave us the state name. And then now they were in Europe in Resident Evil 8, so of course, like, Earth is there. It's still happening in Earth. And then Radiohead is also in Earth, even though they are not related. But you know that we make those jokes about like, oh, look at that. Is that like now confirmed it's part of this universe? Just like when I brought up some fun facts about that one art of like Ganondorf wearing a Metallica shirt, or Super Mario RPG, for example, that they have a very funny dialogue that they quote, or not that they quote, actually they reference Bruce Lee, and then is Bruce Lee part of the Super Mario universe? But yes, the Resident Evil games do happen in Earth, but it's still kind of surprising to me to see other, real life references in there, like Radiohead. But then I hope that it stays in the real game, because from the video I got the impression it was only in the demo, because otherwise why would they only mention the demo, right? Why not mention the game already? Like, oh yeah, in Resident Evil 8, that's what you can find. No, they were very specific about saying the demo, but I was like not expecting those news at all. Like Radiohead in Resident Evil, that's sick. Probably one of the game developers were a big fan of Radiohead. Oh, there we go. Subro has the reference in there. It happened in Duvet, Louisiana. Do you guys know if that city really exists? Or was it fictional? Louisiana, of course, exists, but that city, I'm not sure. Double is saying that Partners in Time was really fun. On this one video, they also said that They didn't go for a Partners in Time remake because it was not as popular as the third game. But as you could see, it was a complete failure, so maybe they should have gone for Partners in Time still. Partners in Time was good, but it's also not my favorite. Um, and Partners in Time was a bit challenging as well for you to really get the commands as you were controlling four characters, right? But I did like it too. Some saying that maybe the city does exist because Resident Evil 8 had a beer called Duvet Beer, and then it wouldn't make a lot of sense to have a specific beer from a place from the US in Europe. I see, so they kinda imported that beer to Europe. Let me Google if it is a real city. I actually imagine, or I imagine that it wouldn't be a real city because you know when something can either promote or make the image of something that exists worse or better when it's brought up on video games or movies. For example, on this game, you're kind of dealing with zombies, and then, if you say that that city exists and it has zombies in the game, some people could be scared to, like, travel there or something. So, to avoid that problem, they would create a fictional city or something. But at the same time, we have other games like The World Ends With You, Persona 5, that bring up Tokyo and Shibuya, real locations. So maybe I'm just like overthinking this, and then it's totally fine. Even some other games, right? Like Fallout, Fallout? Yeah, Fallout. Isn't it like a game that happens in a post-apocalyptic US and stuff? I couldn't really get a result for that, Subaru. Are you sure that's the name of the city? From my research, they changed the spelling ever so slightly from Dubai to Duvet. But there would be a Dubai in Louisiana? But yes, I couldn't really find a Duvet city, at least on my Google search. So how am I doing this now? I was thinking about creating a river here, and then maybe we could have another river ride. Something like rafting or something? So I should also go for a bridge. Oh, by the way, here's another fun fact about gaming that I learned this week. We had another record break for the most expensive game ever sold, and if I'm not mistaken, it used to be a Mario or a Super Mario Brothers 3 cartridge that was all sealed and everything that got the record, but now it changed to The Last of Zelda for the NES sealed cartridge. And if I remember this right, they sold that cartridge for more than $800,000. So that's where the record of the most expensive game is at. So you could buy a house, but instead of that, you are buying a cartridge of The Last of Zelda for the NES. And after I heard those news, it really put me to think like, that's why Nintendo games are expensive. Or like, or how can't PlayStation or Sony or Xbox games be as expensive as some crazy Nintendo games like this one, regarding the collectibles, no, the collectors, regarding the collectors out there for games. It makes me feel like Nintendo games do get more value with time than PlayStation or Xbox games. And maybe that's a reason why they are always expensive and they never, not that they never, but Nintendo games are kind of always expensive, or they don't get many sales, or they don't go lower on prices with time. And then I'm noticing that the freaking records of like most expensive games sold are Nintendo games. So maybe there is a connection there. Maybe there is a reason of like, this is why Nintendo games are always expensive, or they don't get crazy deals like PlayStation or Xbox games, because they have a crazy fan base that will keep on buying them whatsoever, even if they cost $800,000. So yeah, that's the current record right now for the most expensive game ever sold. Yeah, Dubai was in India. So I was like, is there a Dubai in the US? Because Dubai is in another place. But then Duvet, I couldn't find anything about it on the Google search, so I'm now thinking it's not a real location. And then maybe the reference server said about the Duvet beer being in Europe was like an Easter egg, or a reference from Resident Evil 7. But maybe it's still a fictional city. One of the Mario Brothers 3 speedrunners bought an expensive sealed copy. The experts examine it and give it a score for quality and preservation. Oh wait, it's Dove with... Okay, it's a different spelling. It has an L. But Electro, I'm guessing that this guy that bought the expensive sealed copy was not the previous record guy, right? I'm guessing he got lucky, or I don't know, he was able to find a better deal for it. But still, like, it's super crazy expensive, and it's just an old game. Dove. It is really hard to find it, like, it's only Resident Evil 7 references. Yeah, is it real? No, it says right here, it says right here on Wikipedia that it has a fictional Dovey. So the one Meat Flower Power bought was around 500 USD. Okay, That's expensive, but it's not crazy like 500,000, right? Do you guys know which game was the one that you paid the most amount of money to buy it? I don't know if I know which one would be mine, because normally I don't buy super expensive games. Yeah, I probably haven't paid a lot for a game. I would guess that my 3DS games were the ones I paid the most amount of money, especially when they were released, like Super Smash Bros. For the 3DS, maybe um, Pokemon Moon as well, because I got them at like day one. But then, even though they are somewhat expensive, it's not like crazily expensive, right? So I don't even think I have bought a $60 game. Yeah, $60 would be. Oh yeah, it would be very expensive in reais. I totally haven't bought a $60 game either. I probably have bought, let's say, something around. Um, Wait, am I doing this math right now? I would say something around 15 to $20. Yeah, probably around that range would be something close to the highest prices I have paid for. Wait, maybe I'm not making this math right though. Um, Wait a minute. Yes, I'm not doing the math right. I would say something close to 30 to $40. Yeah, which I believe would be the prices for some of my 3DS games. If you weren't held back, Smash Bros. Melee would have been your most expensive single game bought. So you kinda gave up on buying it? The one game that I tried buying once, and I actually bought it, but it was not for a crazy amount of money, because otherwise I would also held back on that, was when I tried to buy a Pokemon Heart Gold Soul Silver cartridge, and then I bought it for a somewhat fair price, but it was fake. Yeah, the game was not original, because once I got to Goldenrod City and tested the Game Corner minigame, it crashed, and then I googled. It seems that that's what happens when you are playing a fake game. And then I was able to refund myself after contacting the person that sold me that game. But maybe that game could have been also one of the most expensive ones I have bought, even though I got a good price for it. Because today, if you look for it, it's super crazy expensive, at least here in Brazil. Or I'm talking about the original, of course. I did buy Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for your brother, and you think it were around $40. Not to mention the freaking DLCs, right? If you are also including the DLCs of it, it makes it even more expensive. But yeah, let's just consider the main price for them. You have been looking for a Heart Gold game? I had one, but it was a fake copy, so I gave up on it. It is freaking expensive, yeah. Oh my god, it's like $309 in there. Okay, maybe it is better for you to buy them in here, I would say. I don't remember how much are they costing in here, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to value that much. Because if they were valuing that much, I would be selling my copies if I had them. Dude, that's a lot for that game. At this rate, man, just go for... Oh, never mind, they are not remaking it. For some reason, I was thinking on the remakes of Diamond Pearl. No, it's Heart Gold Soul Silver. Never mind. We still don't have Let's Go Johto or something. Also, hey, Chill Mode, how are you, man? Yeah, for now, that's the last time we had a Johto game, right? But I would still say, like, wait for longer. Maybe Nintendo will make us another remake. Or keep on looking for deals, because that's too much for that game. Not to mention that I'm guessing they are not going to give you the Poke Walker, right? And speaking on the Poke Walker, I have another fun fact to talk about too. But let me finish this Ferris wheel first because it's in here forever. And chill mode, we are trying to create a city on this mountain or island right here. On the top of the city or on the top of the mountain, we have, let's say, a greater city or a more modern city. On the bottom right there, I'm thinking about creating some sort of farm or village. And then on another island, I will see if I can make an alien-based city as well. So that's the idea. I think I will go for those mountains. And we can think about making a transport ride as well at some point. And more coasters, because I only have a single coaster. For those that were not in here last time, look at this. This is the free fall maze, where people don't solve a puzzle in the maze, they are just there to fall into this big pit. And they like after they reach the floor or the bottom of it. And they don't die either. So this was what we were working on last time, and I love it. Because sometimes that's what they need, I guess. This is next level, right? Yes, this was fantastic. I'm happy that we could really place it well and also see the whole free fall of people, because I was worried about the angles and the camera not being perfect for this. But there it is, we got it. Mazes 1 to 15 look too intense for me. Oh no, it's like, this is such a lie, right? This is like fake ads. Low excitement, low intensity, zero of nausea. As much as I would like to buy a copy from Brazil, I can't trust the sellers there. You are not wrong about that. Like I said, I got food, so... Probably the ones that are with like a very cheap price will be fake copies. You know something else? What was the thing though? I'm now getting some memories, although I can't remember exactly what was it. But I got some memories right now of watching a video talking about people stealing something gaming related from stores, and that being somewhat common or like happening. If I'm not mistaken, maybe they were like stealing Pokemon cards from like stores, but now I can't remember which was the item. But I was like, holy shit, this is happening in there, like in the US that much, like people are stealing those things. Can't remember, but you know something good I learned about Pokemon cards here in Brazil at least? That surprised me. Brazil is the land of taxes. Like, if you wanna live with taxes, move to Brazil, because we have all sorts of taxes in here. They are always growing and, you know, reproducting and becoming more and more common. But Pokemon TCG cards or like other trading cards in here, they do not have taxes. Because it seems that the government and the how are they called? The courts, like the justice courts, they got to the conclusion that the Pokemon cards, or like cards in general, they promote reading. So they could be considered close to books or close to like sticker albums. And because of that, because of how they can help people to be reading and helping kids to be learning and like something educational, they do not get taxes. Because in here, thank goodness, books do not get taxes or they can't be taxed. So I was surprised to know that Pokemon cards will also not get taxed in here, because at least something in here can be free of that. And then I'm glad, even though I don't buy Pokemon cards anymore, that maybe some people that still do that today, they have that relief, right, from the taxes. So yeah, I was surprised to know that they are considered like books in here because they promote education or like they promote reading, which makes sense if you think about it. But still shocks me because normally in here they will see anything and try to add taxes to them. What was the other thing I had to say? Oh yeah, speaking of stickers and Pokemon, look of what I found. Or actually my mom found it and then she gave it to me. Let me actually change the cam. Look at this. My mom found an old set of Gen 1 Pokemon stickers. This was probably from a sticker album. And as you can see, I never really used those stickers. I think as a kid, I also didn't use my stickers of anything, but I liked to have them. But you know, today I should consider using those stickers for something. Especially now they are back to my life. Maybe I should stick them into my video games or something. But yes, my mom found that and then she asked, do you still want this or can I throw this away? I'm like, give me that to me, it's my precious. And then now I got those stickers from Gen 1. Maybe somebody could buy them, hopefully for like a crazy amount of money. Like Pokemon set of Gen 1 stickers. What is the value? Unfortunately that's going to be like a shitty value, but I can still dream. Like make those expensive word because they are original stickers. But yeah, now I got those. Nausea at one of that water. Man, this is Fanta. So, unless you don't like that artificial taste of orange Fanta, then you can be nauseous for sure. I do think that orange Fanta is the one that causes the most problem to people. You either like it or hate it, because some people say it tastes like medicine. But I'm like Team Fanta or Orange Fanta, I do like it. Not my favorite is Grape, Grape Fanta. But yeah, I can still see myself drinking Orange Fanta sometimes. Not every time because I kinda don't drink soda. But I don't hate Orange Fanta. This is indeed a huge park to load, yes. That's why it's taking us some time to complete it. As someone with acrophobia, okay, which is the fear of heights, I bet my body will find some way to cause a high nausea level. Dude, yeah, I think you wouldn't be able to even cross this bridge, right? But I think I had this talk once. I came to the conclusion that I'm more scared of close to water level bridges than tall bridges. And that was something crazy for me to realize. I think that maybe I got used to tall bridges because they are more common when you are traveling or when you are driving in your city or something. Normally the bridges are somewhat tall, but when you need to cross a bridge that's super close to the water level, that's like a very short bridge, I don't know why I feel it's unsafe. Or maybe that I'm going to fall in that water. It is a crazy fear of mine, and I have two examples of that. One is in Rio and one is in here, in my hometown. There is this one, let's say, somewhat fancy neighborhood in my hometown where it's more like an island, and in order for you to get there, you kinda need to cross a very short bridge. And there was one day that my school gave us a trip to that place, and I always felt scared to cross that bridge. Also because its entrance is a bit dark because it has a lot of trees, so it's a somewhat dark area. But the one in Rio, I will see if I can find a picture of it. Which is sad because it's on my favorite neighborhood in Rio. But if I need to access some parts of that neighborhood, I avoid that bridge because it does make me scared. So I find a longer way that I can walk normally instead of crossing that bridge. I didn't know that bridge was super old. Yeah, I didn't know this bridge was that old. Look at this crazy old picture. But that's the bridge I'm scared of. I will find other pictures. Is it too bright? Maybe it is too bright. I don't know, I don't like that bridge. Speaking of nausea, you got mild food poisoning yesterday. What did you eat though? And be sure to drink lots of water. You gotta get hydrated. What happened in here yesterday was that I ordered food. I ate rice, fried bananas, black beans, and something that we call here as mayo salad. It's pretty much chopped potatoes, chopped chayote or chopped carrots, and you mix all of that with some mayo. So I ordered that. I ordered a mayo salad, but my mayo salad fell on the floor when I was trying to hygienize it. I'm not sure if I'm pronounced that correctly. When I was trying to, let's say, kill the germs or kill the viruses from the containers of it. But then unfortunately I dropped the container at the floor, and then my house in here at my parents, we have a dog. And then the dog, of course, he saw something on the floor, food. He attacked the mayo salad while everybody was like, no, don't eat that because it's going to give the dog diarrhea. So far the dog's fine, but we were freaking scared of the dog like feeling nauseous and getting diarrhea because he was eating mayo. And it's not something good for you to give to your dog. But I was lucky because part of the mayo salad was still inside the container and it didn't get to the floor. So I saved that part, but the rest of it was to the dog. So it was a happy day for Doggo, but he totally took some risks of getting nauseous or a diarrhea. Mayo salads are fantastic though. It's something super simple, highly recommended, and yeah, it's pretty much chopped vegetables, and then you, instead of using, I don't know, olive oil, vinegar and stuff, you just use mayo, and then it's super good. You like the stickers? Yeah, those are freaking OG, right? I will see if I use them in my apartment to decorate something in there. You know something that I would love to do, but it's just an idea? Those that are like old from this channel or like that have been here for a long time, they probably would still remember that on my wall there used to be a big poster, and then now today you only have an empty area because the poster kind of fell from the wall and then I couldn't keep it glued there. and then I gave up about keeping it glued there. But it's like a Pokédex from Pokemon Y. Yeah, from the Pokemon Y game. And it has like a lot of Pokemon in there. And my dream is now to like frame it. I wish I could frame posters or, maybe someday even buy one of those crazy jigsaw puzzles and then you solve the puzzle and then you ask somebody to frame it. That's businesses that I need to get into still. The only place I know in my city or in my apartment city that does that job is in the shopping mall, but I never stop there to ask them how is the process or how much is for it. But that's something I would love to do, like to frame that poster and frame other things too, especially jigsaw puzzles. Yeah, Subaru is asking about this city. That's what I thought about doing for the decoration of this mountain. I wanted to create a city in here, and I think I will go for a village down there with some more forest and stuff. And in another mountain, I will create an alien city. Hey Ultras, how are you, man? Yeah, do you guys have something like that you framed before? I think it's something very cool, but I see it happening more in other countries, like when somebody is, I don't know, streaming and then you look at the back of the person's streams, there is like a framed poster or even a framed jigsaw puzzle. In here, I don't see that happening that much, but it's something that I'm totally interested. It's something that I need to find ways of doing it myself, especially for that my Pokemon Y poster that I wanted framed. Probably my parents would hate the idea of me like placing it in my room or something, but it's something I would love to do. Yeah, this is a big square, let's say big squared islands park for sure, yeah, and then I want to go for a different team on each one of them. I found a way to connect the exit of the Ferris wheel, but what about the entrance? The problem here is that that's the dead end. Um, oh yeah, Ultros, how was your week, man? I remember you were saying that some people would be visiting you this week. I hope that everything was alright. Yeah, if I go for symmetry, this is how it would look like, but then it's not going to connect to anything, so... Yeah, this can't be symmetric, right? Even though I wished were. Unless I get rid of one of those houses, I think I will do that. Oh no, it still doesn't match. But I'm taking down the house. I want to have the symmetry happening. And then we do something else in there. Maybe create a statue. It can be this one. Oh, it's not fully squared. In that case, let's go for the dolphins. And some water. You're doing okay. The week was okay. You had a lot to drink now. Wait, to drink? Did you buy many beers or something? Your friend was there on Monday and Tuesday? Yeah, he was visiting the beaches, right? Wait, is this really... Oh, it's not. Okay, this is not right. Wait a minute. You're going through a bottle of gin right now, huh? Have I ever had that? I think I haven't. Is gin sweet? Because I know there are some alcoholic drinks that are sweet. For example, rum. And how is that other one called? Um, okay, I'm not sure if this is the name for it in English because I'm going to say the Portuguese name for it. Amarula. Have you ever heard of that? Does that sound familiar? Amarula? I know those two are sweet, like rum and amarula. But then I'm not sure about gin. You might take a drive to see that tomorrow. Okay, let me check that out. Wait, is that a... Oh my god, do you mean you are going to see a ship? Also, look at the sharpness of that ship. It looks like a wall. If you see the edge of it, it looks like a wall. It's freaking crazy. So you're going to see this ship or something? Which is another thing I have never done. Like I have never uh, went on a cruise. I mean, not like a cruise like that. I have been to a, let's say, a smaller cruise thing, which is more like you go to the beach and then they have this ship that's, let's say, mid-sized, and then they get you to somewhere deeper into the ocean, but not like, traveling around cities and going around the country and visiting every sort of place and then sleeping in the ship. No, it's nothing like that. It's just like a 2 to 3 hours boat tour or ship tour around the beach. So I have been to those, but nothing crazy or fancy like a cruise or something more, something that would last longer. I would not describe gin as sweet, it's just dry, but it's pretty herbal and floral. Well, at least it has some good taste in there, so probably I would still like it, I guess. But the one that I'm totally the most curious to try regarding alcoholic drinks is rum, because I love random raisins, it's my favorite ice cream flavor. That's the last ship from the Titanic era that still exists. And then what is it going to do, or what is it doing in Canada? And I'm guessing it's still in activity, like is it still really getting people from continent to continent? But it is docked about 30 minutes from you. That just remembered me of this one day that I heard that somebody was creating or building the tallest sand castle in the world, and it was in my city, or at least in my apartment city. I remember going there just to see it, and it was pretty much like a pyramid, or not really a pyramid as in a triangular shape, but it was like a, how can I say it? Like a cake maybe, when you have the layers and then they keep on going smaller, you know? Yeah, more like a cake. So I did went or I did go to see what in the day or at the time was the biggest or tallest actually sandcastle. And then I took a picture in there. I was a bit scared because they were making it in a somewhat dangerous area, or at least I should say empty area in my city, so it could be dangerous. It had the potential to be dangerous, but thankfully everything was alright, and then nothing happened to me. But regarding ships and cruises, you have lots of them in Rio, lots of them. Some people do go for those trips, but I have never considered going for one myself. It is a small ship. Yeah, it is a little bit small. And it's only sailed on the Great Lakes. It does not move. Oh, it doesn't move? But you think it's still like sailable if they recondition it? So that's interesting. I wonder how. It's probably a Canadian ship then. Because if it is since the Titanic era and it's in Canada, maybe they built it in Canada and stay there. Because I was imagining that it was built elsewhere and then it ended up in Canada. But then you are saying that it's not going to be cruising or like navigating anymore, so right now it is there just as an attraction. You can pay 10 bucks for a very long tour of the ship and the engine room. We will take the tour, or you are just going, or are you just going there to just see it? The tour I took some years ago was a tour inside a submarine that was docked in a museum in Rio. It's always there, so it's pretty much like the military submarine or something. So I have been inside a submarine. I went there when they were having the Olympic Games in Rio, and while I was visiting port, the port area, because for the Olympic Games they pretty much renovated the whole port area of Rio. I decided to finally go for that visit. Okay, you're just going there and going to take a picture. Feel free to share the picture if you want when you do it. You said tomorrow, right? So maybe tomorrow you can show it to us. And it's all still like vintage looking. I was impressed how flat it looked. At least on the example you gave us. They have the table set and menus and stuff from the day. You like to see the classic ships if you can. We would love to see the RMS Queen Mary. The Queen Mary, that sounds somewhat familiar, but okay, this is very, very Titanic looking. Also, by the way, what is that crazy dome back there? Maybe a planetarium? But yeah, this is very Titanic looking. This is also giving me memories of the show I was watching a couple months ago that's called High Seas. That show has many seasons, or at least 3 seasons. I have only watched the first season and then I kind of stopped it or paused that show. And it does go or happen in a ship like that. It is very old school for sure. Thankfully it's not cruising anymore because I don't know how would I feel about cruising on a Titanic looking ship. I mean, maybe it's going to be safe because I'm not expecting to find icebergs in Rio, so maybe I'm good about that. But it's still somewhat um, worrisome. You have a photo with that one, with the Queen Mary. Oh my, it did age. It aged a lot, and you know what this reminds me of a lot too? Where is Victor when I need him the most? Because Victor would like, yeah, it's exactly like that. For those that have played Banjo-Kazooie and were traumatized by this one level, Ultras, what you just sent me was this thing right here. Yeah, you just gave me a picture of the Rusty Bucket. A level in... Wait, can you see it? Let me close the... Let me go back in here. A level of Banjo-Kazooie. The hardest level in Banjo-Kazooie, actually. And then Ultros was saying, oh yes, I'm going to visit the engine room. Do not want to visit the engine room of this one right here, because it's like the nightmare of players. It's like a very deadly room. But hey, it has a fantastic music though. You see the resemblance? Yeah, it's very rusty. It even gets the rusty on its name. Chill Mode, do you know that level, the Rusty Bucket Bay? It's the nightmare of Banjo-Kazooie, but it still has, let's say, um, its values, like the music, for example. And it's just like the Water Temple, like you hate it, but you still respect it, you know. So it's I can still give it some respect. That's the SS United States that has the record for the blue ribbon for the fastest across the Atlantic Ocean. And then I think that record is from the 50s. Which brings me to another question. Have you guys been to both oceans, like the Atlantic and also the Pacific? I have only been to the Atlantic, because that's the one that's in Rio, right? But I wonder if you guys were ever able to like touch or get to both oceans or even other ones. And Ultras, that talk we had last time about igloos. This week I have been thinking about tree houses. I was even talking about tree houses with Nubble earlier. Have you ever been to a treehouse? Because hopefully treehouses will be easier to get to than igloos. Floating fortresses. That's some sort of Super Mario Brothers 3, right? That crazy mankind can build. Oh, never mind. Floating on the water. Oh yeah, I was thinking on flying fortresses like the airship stage of Super Mario Brothers 3. Have you guys ever seen a Zeppelin, by the way? That's another crazy thing, right? And very OG as well. And I think I also asked this before, that like who would ever have a travel or actually have a trip in a balloon? I probably wouldn't, but I wish I could see a balloon. I also have never seen a balloon. The ships, they lost their charm sometime in the 50s. I wouldn't say they lost their charm, I would say they got very modern looking. Like the cruises are very different today. And we did have a lot of ship tragedies, but we have had tragedies everywhere, like car tragedies, airplane flights that collapsed. Yeah, Titanic is definitely not the only one for sure. There are even spots where people dive to see some sunken ships, right? Lusitania shortly after is basically what started World War One, and was about the same time and similar life loss of the Titanic, purposely targeted by Germans as per the textbooks. You have been on the west coast in British Columbia and then the east coast several different places. There we go, Ultras has been to both oceans. I have never seen a Zeppelin, but he has seen blimps. I also haven't seen blimps. You know something that still bugs me that I haven't done in my life? I have never played with a kite. I'm pretty sure we had that talk as well before, but it's fine. I'm recycling topics. Have you guys ever played with a kite? And kites are super common in Rio, super common, and I have never played with one. The Empress of Ireland sank in the St. Lawrence River in the 20s. Man, I'm actually surprised you know a lot about ships, Ultras. I know you like to fish, but then like you also like fish a lot, or I mean, you like ships a lot. If you tell me like name famous ships, I would only be able to say the Titanic, I guess. I think that's my. Does it count if I mention Pokemon? Pokemon ships, SS Ain, SS Aqua. I know more about Pokemon ships than real life ships. Although, if I'm not mistaken, Ultras also like to dive. So maybe that could have something to do about that too. Wait, it sank in about 15 minutes with like 1,000 plus dead? Not that you remember, but possibly like when little and maybe a toy one or something, but you can't say that you have ever flown a kite. Yeah, man, me neither. But of course I have seen plenty of kites in here. You got this thing for reading ships' histories, you don't know why? I mean, it is very interesting, but I was trying to understand what was the spark for you to go after that. And then I'm trying to link it with like your other sea related hobbies like fishing and maybe diving. So St. Lawrence River is in Canada and its license Quebec. So it happened in Quebec then. Do people dive to see St. Lawrence today? Speaking of rivers, let's try creating our artificial river in here. Oh yes, another thing about like places and traveling and uh, it is going to change the topic a little bit, but I just remembered that I had this talk earlier this week. Oh wait, this is not at the same level. But I realized that I have some fear of traveling to the Middle Eastern. I remember Pilot has been there when we were talking about Middle Eastern foods and restaurants, especially because Ultras was able to cook some kippes, which by the way I miss kippes so much still. We were talking about Middle Eastern food and stuff, but then I realized this week that I'm scared to travel there. And of course, you may know the reasons why. It's because we hear about the news of like, you know, the military attack and terrorism and everything. But then I was talking to a person that was not scared to go there. The person was like super excited about watching a video of the Middle Eastern and then seeing the old buildings and you know the history of the place and stuff. And then I was like, yeah, it looks fantastic, but I wish I could be, I don't know, somewhat brave to like travel there or something. I feel intimidated. So do you guys feel intimidated to travel to the Middle Eastern or something? I wish I could remember the location of the video. It was a beautiful place. It was very historical. It was like a temple in the sand mountains. It looked a lot like a Zelda dungeon even. I was telling the person that I was getting like some Zelda flashbacks, but I forgot the name of the place. But that conversation showed me that I'm scared of traveling to such a place. But it's not only because of, I don't know, the crazy wars or things like that that could happen at such a location, but it's also because of my hardships with the language and eating even. Even though I do like some Middle Eastern dishes, I'm still very limited on what I like to eat and what not. But yes, I realized this week that I would be scared to travel. I don't know, to um, Turkey or even to the Egypt. I would feel somewhat concerned, I guess. And maybe that's why it's one of the reasons I don't consider or I never consider traveling there, because inside of me I may have some fear, because it's such a completely different culture that I don't know how I would fit it or how I would adapt to it. So the ships from the late 1890s to mid 1930s are all gorgeous to ultras. Ultras, you do like lots of things from the past, man. It's the ships, it's the Corvette. The ships lost their charm sometime in the 50s. Um, the currents are very unpredictable. Wait a minute. Apparently, you can go to dive to the ship to St. Lawrence. It's not deep. It's about 200 feet, but it's one of the most dangerous dives because of the currents. Okay, so do not dive for it. The currents are very unpredictable and sometimes visibility goes bad and people get lost or need nitrogen narcosis and shit. But people do offer dives to see it. Your brother has been to Dubai. It's funny you were talking about Dubai because we were talking about Dubai earlier, or that name showed up on the stream. But here's the thing though. Nubble said it was in India. Is Dubai really in India? Because when I hear Dubai, I don't know why I think, oh no, I'm probably thinking about Singapore. Yeah, for some reason when I hear the word Dubai, I think on Singapore. Yeah, maybe it is in India. So ultras would go to Dubai, Egypt, Morocco. Oh, never mind. So, okay, it was not in India and not even in. I mean, I knew it was not in Singapore, but it's the place that I connect the city to. It is in the United Arab Emirates. Okay, so I was completely wrong as well because I wouldn't name that location. Yeah, but it didn't feel right when we were talking about it, and then it was like in India. Yeah, because India is a place that I will never go. Like the public transportation in there scares me. Um, it's too crowded. The traffic looks awful. Uh, yeah, India, it's not a place for me, and not for the same reasons of like being dangerous. It is also probably dangerous, but not in the same levels or same ways that I'm like scared of. But it's more because of the traffic, the how it's crowded. I don't know. I think I would struggle even more in there. I wish I really could remember the place that I saw the freaking ruins and the temple. In case I remember that location, I will tell you guys in another stream or another day. You have no desire to see Iraq or Iran, not just because of the issues, but lack of interest. For example, Jerusalem as well. If you're a Christian, you're probably going to really like to visit that place, or like it's an important place. To me, it's like scary, or it's a whole mess today, and I wouldn't feel comfortable in there. Yes, also I would never go there either. Oh, by the way, my river needs to be Here's the thing though, I'm just realizing that I want to build a river, but there is like a big hill. And unfortunately, I can't make a waterfall. How am I going to fill that place with water? I mean, unless this is not connected to that area. Okay, maybe that's what I should be doing. I will not be able to make this connection, yeah. But I was saying in previous streams that one location that I never really cared that much to travel to it, but then recently I got more interested to go to there or to go there is Italy. Yeah, I never really dreamed or considered traveling to Italy, but after seeing a little bit more of Rome, I did like what I saw. Like doing some fossil hunting Middle Eastern, you want to have a Spinosaur tooth. Have you guys ever seen dinosaur fossils? I have. There was a school trip to the museum in Rio, which, by the way, it's now one of my favorite places in Rio ever. It's a fantastic museum. And the first time I went to that museum was to see some fossils of dinosaurs. And they had a freaking. I believe it was complete. I think it was actually a Spinosaur, now that you are saying it, chill mode. A mountain park tricky with the levels, yeah, the freaking water levels. Others would go to Italy, yeah, now I would consider it as well. Even though the reasons I brought up last time that I said this still continue to exist, like it's kinda a detour of the rest of Europe. So if you're going for an Euro trip, you would need to decide, are you going to Italy or are you going to the rest of the countries? And then I would feel more tempted to go to the rest of the countries to like get to more countries. But Italy does have some very interesting locations and spots. And in particular, I did like Rome a lot. And even though it's like a comparison that I'm making in my dreams, it does remind me of Rio. Or at least like the downtown of Rio with like the oldest buildings and the historical parts of Rio. The only difference is that in Rome, it's very well conserved, or like the buildings are at a very fantastic looking state. I mean, considering the history, of course, it is aged and everything, but in Rio, those buildings, even though they look very close to the ones I saw in Rome, they are dirtier, they are not very well conserved, or like, they are at a worse state, I would say. But if you stop to think about it, it's pretty much, or something very close to the buildings in Rome. So I was like, what? This building looks like a one I have seen in Rio. So after doing that comparison, I felt more curious to visit Rome and then, uh, see that city with my own eyes or even make more comparisons by my own. But it's something that never crossed my mind before. Like, Rome being close to Rio, like looking like some places in Rio, how is that? But yes, there are some buildings in there that look a lot like Rio. And then, good call. There is also the food of Italy, right? The food trip. Dinosaur bones are weird like minions ears. Sometimes I do wonder, like, maybe what I'm going to say is a bit polemic. Actually, it's very polemic. So I hope nobody gets triggered in any ways for what I'm going to say, but let's think that no meteor hit the Earth, right? No crazy meteor hit the Earth, and then the dinosaurs were still there. Don't you think that in case there is like a god or something, or like a greater intelligence, don't you think that the dinosaurs would be like the initial plan for that? Like for life, pretty much, because the dinosaurs were the direction that things were going to. So what I'm trying to say is that we are kinda only here because of the detour that history took thanks to the meteor. And then some people like to believe that, oh yeah, we are the reasons of why life exists, and then, we are the most intelligent beings, and then that's what life is about. And then if you stop to think about it, that's not how history has really started. Like, so yes, I was thinking that maybe the original plan of life was actually going on a direction that has nothing to do with humans, and then because of how things happened, there we are today streaming at Twitch. So yeah, like, isn't it crazy how the history has changed completely because of that? I don't know. It is something that feels weird, or it feels crazy to me. Don't you think so, chill mode? I don't know. Those that say that, oh yes, humans are the reason to be, or like everything is because of the humans, or God created the humans and stuff. If you look back, like, what about the dinosaurs? Like, today, if things were a little bit different, it would be the world of the dinosaurs, like reptiles all the way. And then was that the plan of gods, or the plan of the universe, or the life existence? It could be, it could have been. Anyway, that's just a crazy thought of mine. But yeah, things would have been very different if no meteor hit the Earth, right? Or the planet. And then, like, what is the purpose of life and stuff? Life would have been something completely different today. And it was kinda going on that direction initially. But yeah, besides the fossil of a dinosaur, I think that the other crazy thing I have seen was mummies. Yeah, mummies that came from Egypt. I saw those. Oh yeah, on the same. Oh my god, I forgot about that. On the same trip I went to the museum to see the dinosaur fossil. We went to the Zoo of Rio, and then the Zoo of Rio is next to a museum. Unfortunately, that museum burned down. There was a huge fire that was thanks to like the lack of investments from the government to like renovate that museum, and then unfortunately that museum got on fire and a lot of things were lost. But I have been to that museum, and they used to have more fossils, even the longest dated fossil of a human in South America, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's greater than South America, maybe it's in the America or something. But they had a fossil of a woman's skull in there that surprisingly still exists even after the fire. It was able to resist the fire, or they were able to recover it after the fire happened. But on that day, they also gave us um, they also took us to that zoo and museum, and in that museum we could see mummies. But when I saw, or when I was mentioning that I have seen mummies, they were like 2 years ago. Yeah, it was the last exposition I have been to before the pandemic started. So it was in the beginning of 2020. And then I saw some real mummies in there. But also as a kid, when they brought us to that other museum that unfortunately was burned into ashes today. Rome has a big time history. It's crazy how the roads still are the same as old. Yes, and the buildings are, man, they did such a good job on renovating and I don't know, rebuilding Rome or something, because it looks fantastic. Like the buildings look so clean, and It is not something that looks too degraded or I'm not talking about the buildings that of course went through battles and wars and destruction happened in history, but I'm talking about like regular buildings that people go to work or people even live in them that are of course very old dated, but it's crazy how they look new, like they were, I don't know, opened last year or something. That's what surprised me a lot.